Hello, hello, hello. It is me, your True Hill Phenom SP3. And this is a very special new series that we are going to start up right here with our pilot episode right here. It is called Tru Rewind, and we are going to be taking a look back on the Monday Night War. So with me for this series, we got the one, the only, the man that's been the most requested since he took in his hiatus from our YouTube channel, the host of the Romeo Report, the funniest man on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, Romeo Anthony Cologne.
What an intro. I don't deserve all that.
Welcome back.
From my arch nemesis, really?
Welcome back.
Don't turn babyface on me.
And we also have the Mr. Chalkline himself wearing the Heart Foundation chalkline. Of course he had to. And he's got his do-rag on because we're all in quarantine. He knows how it works.
Going through dark times.
The drunkest man on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, the host of Going Raw with Drunk Guy JJ, the aforementioned Drunk Guy JJ.
Thank you. What a great intro. Happy to be
here for
again,
a good time, not a long time.
Exactly. Always here for a good time, not a long time.
As always, and like I said, we're going to be taking a look back on the Monday Night Wars. This year, guys, is going to make 25 years since the Monday Night Wars first kicked off in September of 1995. We're a few months early. We want to get a head start on the 25th anniversary. So
3 years old. God, 3.
I thought you were going to say 25 years of Triple H.
Well, that too. Triple H has been around the time. He came right after, around this time, actually, 25 years ago, right after WrestleMania 11. But in September of 1995, WCW went from WCW Saturday Night on TBS to a Monday night slot going up against Monday Night Raw. But ironically, for the first episode of Monday Night Nitro, it went unopposed on Labor Day of 1995. Romeo, you're the newest eyes to this. Tell them a little bit about you back in 1995 of like your viewing habits on a Monday or 1996, however it is.
I did not have cable. Let me tell you that much.
I feel you, good brother.
I can't remember when I started watching, but it must have been maybe 96, 97, 98. But I watched Raw. I was a WWF guy. I didn't watch Nitro. I don't even think I turned in during the commercials. So this whole journey is going to be new to me. I mean, obviously, I know the major events just from hearing it through WWE revisionist history, but this is going to be new to me. So it's going to be like fresh eyes.
Mark.
By the way, I did not find out for certain why this episode of Raw was not being shown or preempted. I think it might have been the Westminster Dog Show or the U.S. Open, one or the other.
I think
the Dog Show always got Raw.
Maybe the U.S. Open's Labor Day weekend, isn't it?
Yes, it could have been that. Yeah. So Monday Nitro, September 4th, 1995. This opening package, just a bunch of buildings exploding, very, very
90s.
Yeah. And I took note of the superstars that appeared during this montage. There were only 4, and they were Hogan, Vader, Sting, and Macho Man, which I found very interesting because in the video package, you're showing who you're marketing off, who you want the audience to see, and they only showed those 4 guys, which is interesting to me.
Of course, Hogan had to be there.
There was a lot of Hogan in that video.
I'm kind of surprised Flair wasn't in there in some way.
No Flair in that video.
Ironic.
And so it begins.
We're gonna get to that in a few years. Yes.
We were from Minneapolis, Minnesota, at the Mall of America. A very interesting location to have your first live show of Monday Nitro. What do you guys think about that location?
I love the setting. The setting made this very unique and very much stand out. I'm honestly disappointed that they never had another episode for Mall of America. It seemed like, why would you not? Like, that should have been like the anniversary thing. Go back to the Mall of America and stuff.
At least every 5. Well, I won't say every 5 years because it was only around for 6 more years after this. So
almost
once a year.
Every shot they had of the crowd, you'd see some group of people just going up the escalator, just watching the show. Like,
kind of like an indie show that's going on in like a bigger like venue that has other things
Remember
going on.
Shogun Saturday night in Penn Station? Kind of like that.
Yes.
Absolutely. I'm disappointed no one was Tombstone on the escalator.
They introduced the commentary team, which is Eric Bischoff and Mongo McMichael. But then, thank God, Bobby Heenan comes into the screen, and he's a part of the announce team too.
Yeah, because Jesus Christ.
Praise the Lord, because I just want to say, the one thing that stuck out the most to me in this episode is why the fuck was Mongo unannounced? Like he
couldn't do
horrible.
anything right that whole WCW run. Like literally nothing.
No. I will say we'll get to it when he starts wrestling. But Mongo is one of my favorite horrible wrestlers. Like he was so bad that it was just hilarious to watch. So I enjoyed him as a wrestler. But his commentary,
God, no.
it was just too much of him and that fucking dog. That freaking dog. Why couldn't Big Boss Man like just kill? Why couldn't he just get that gimmick early, like 4 years early?
Oh my God!
Too soon.
Talk about
we'll get to that eventually.
We haven't even started the review yet. We already talked about killing animals. Jesus Christ.
We get to the first match of WCW Monday Nitro. Of course, we're going to see WCW's best, right? Going at it. First match right out the gate, right? New Japan Pro Wrestler. Holy shit.
I loved in the announcing of Jushin Thunder Liger, they said Japanese most popular wrestler. I've never heard that. Like someone like the ring announcer actually said, one of Japanese most popular wrestlers, Jushin Thunder Liger. And I love Dave Penzer, by the way. Dave Penzer is one of my childhood hero ring announcers next to the Fink. R.I.P. the Fink, you know?
R.I.P. Fink. Jushin Thunder Liger versus Flying Brian Pillman, a WCW wrestler. Here we go, at least. Now, I think Pillman won this match, right? I did not write down the results.
Yes. Pillman did win the match.
That would be bad if a New Japan Pro Wrestler won the first match on WCW Nitro.
I love this match. There was a lot of high flying. We had a couple of different dives during it. Liger busted out the Mexican surfboard, which was always cool to see. And the match ends after Pillman reverses. He does a tornado DDT for a 2. Then they do a standing switch, and Pillman reverses it into a roll-up for the win. But I put that it was definitely a very good match, and I definitely understand why people remember it as one of the more memorable matches in Nitro history.
Good opener. I still have a problem with the New Japan Pro Wrestler being in the first match of WCW Nitro history. Me personally, you got to come up with your WCW guys. If you want to do them in the second match, that's fine.
You wanted to see Dean Malenko, Chavo Guerrero?
I wanted to see the second match as the first match, and we'll get to that in a few.
Because there was a lot between.
Let's talk about what happened in between. If you even get to the second match. If you don't change the channel or turn it off.
You had did you put down the Sting promo? The Sting promo, which was easily forgettable if you only remember the next segment.
All right, we've got Hulk Hogan backstage in the concession area. He's with a whole bunch of fans marking out, and they're looking at the menu. You see a big picture of Hulk Hogan on the menu, and He's talking about Pasta Mania running wild. Apparently, there's some pasta, something to do with Hulk Hogan on the menu. SP3, do you have more to say on this?
Yes, because I wrote down word for word how Eric Bischoff introduced this segment. He says, Michael Jordan's got his restaurant in Chicago. Coach Don Shula's got his steakhouse in Miami. And now, WCW World Heavyweight Champion Hulk Hogan has Pasta Mania at the Mall of America. I legit almost died crying.
Awful. One of the worst bits Hulk Hogan has ever done in his career. Although, I don't know. I still got more to see.
It didn't make any sense. He said at one point, I also put down this, Hogan says he's been staying trim, eating his Pasta Mania, which makes absolutely no sense.
Fun drinking game. Take a shot every time Pastamania is said on this episode. Fun drinking game.
Well, it was nice. It was nice doing this video with you guys.
So, if you survive that segment, if you just give it a pass and you're like, you know what, I'm going to keep watching Nitro, you get to see Ric Flair versus Sting. Ric Flair's entrance, I loved it. It was regal, as always, as expected. Ric Flair, Sting, you know how this match goes. Ric Flair takes 1,000 bumps, maybe has 3 or 4 moves of offense, maybe 3 to 4 tops. He makes Sting look so good. In the middle of this match, Lex Luger walks down the aisle unexpectedly, and I remember the line by Heenan. Tony Schiavone was Eric Bischoff was upset by this, and Bobby Heenan says he's got a right to be here. It's a public mall, and I'm like, wow, good point.
The brain
so mad about Bischoff. It's a public mall.
The brain using common sense.
The brain using his brain. Of course, this match does not end clean. This is the first non-finish in WCW Nitro history.
First of a million.
I am going to personally keep track of this. Every week, I'm going to count how many non-finishes, DQs. Just, I'm going to keep track of this.
Shit finish chart.
I want to see if there's an episode of Nitro that doesn't have one. First of all, I know there's going to be plenty. But Arn Anderson comes in, attacks Ric Flair. I have no idea about this storyline.
Once again, it was the brain. The brain was the only one that was saying that they have their own family feud going on, that they're having inner turmoil, and that they're having a match at Fall Brawl. Pretty simple. In about 2 minutes, he was able to explain while Eric Bischoff and Mongo were just flipping each other off or jerking each other off. I don't know what the hell they were doing half of the time or what they were talking about. Eric Bischoff freaking out about Lex Luger. Oh, he's not supposed to be here. Eric Bischoff, slow down. That's not the NWO. Slow down. Calm down. You can only, this only worked once. It didn't work before then. It didn't work after then. It only worked once. So calm down. And I also put that Sting and Flair, they literally always had the same match, but it was never bad. It was never bad. It was always good.
They had a good formula. They knew how to do it. They know how to work with each other.
I wrote down notes for this segment. It was Scott Norton. This is literally immediately after because the match, like you said, Arn interferes and he gets involved, causing first his Flair doesn't let go of the ropes in the figure 4 that causes the DQ, so he gets DQ'd and then Arn pulls him off. They have a little brawl. They go off. While that's going on, Scott Norton comes down, starts harassing the announcers. He's like, I don't have a match. He looks absolutely jacked. Scott Norton, honestly, he stood out more than a lot of people on this episode of Nitro because he looked jacked and he was just begging for a match. Then he got in Mongo's face, called Mongo a washed-up has-been. I was a big fan of him after that. I was a huge fan of him after he insulted Mongo. And then Macho Man comes out. He challenges Norton. He says he's going to fight him right now. And Bischoff tells Norton that he will never have a match on Nitro if he gets in the ring now. And then security separates the two. But it got me amped. Next week, we got Norton versus Savage on the second episode of Nitro. So,
I can't wait for that.
It's good to see the Macho Man. I mean, a lot of debate about Macho Man going over to WCW. He could have done more in WWF. A lot of people feel Vince McMahon was ready for the new generation. Let him go. What do you guys think about that?
The irony of hearing that now. But, 25 years later.
Oh man, how the table turns.
Macho could have definitely had a better run his second time. Was it his last match, I think, against Crush at Mania 10?
I believe so.
Right? Yeah, he could have definitely had a better run.
Remember Macho Man wanted to work a program with Shawn Michaels?
Yep.
Yes, and he should have. He should have.
Definitely should have.
Honestly, they could have done a lot more with Macho Man for the last year and a half. From 1993 to 1994, they could have done a lot more with Macho Man, and they allowed him to draw money for WCW by letting him go so early. And I think that ever since then, 25 years later, Vince McMahon has learned his lesson and never lets any old person go. Or he mixed them for every guy. Hey, Bill Goldberg.
Oh, man. Nitro then goes into a video package previewing Sabu coming soon to Nitro, and that just makes me sick.
Why?
He's ECW.
No,
That's crazy.
sucks
I
to see
totally
him in
forgot
WCW.
about that.
This was when Sabu signed with WCW. This was honestly one of my favorite, like my childhood memories of the early years of Nitro. Was the fact that that was my first exposure to ECW was Sabu. Was Sabu in WCW on those early Nitro episodes? So I'm looking forward to the second episode with Sabu's Nitro debut.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. We get another video package, this time of a character called Mr. Wall Street, who is formerly, well, let me just tell you, IRS is rolling in his grave seeing Mr. Wall Street on WCW. What, you got anything to say about Mr. Wall Street?
You got anything to say, drunk guy JJ? About M Wall Street? Well, all I will say is that M Wall Street, I did enjoy his little vignette because he was able in I think it was like a 50-second vignette to get a dig at the new generation for the WWF because part of the reason why he left the WWF is because they were focusing on the newer stars, so he had to leave and he got a payday from WCW. And then two, he also got a dig into the IRS character. So he accomplished 2 goals in a 50-second promo. He deserves credit for that. We also had, before that, Mean Gene in the ring talking about he could have bought 30 acres of land when he was 8 years old in Minnesota. I don't know. Like, I love Mean Gene, but that was
very awkward. What is that doing on the program?
It was so random. And then they announced Mike Hill of Cullum, Alabama, as the Harley Davidson sweepstakes winner. They gave away a Harley Davidson on the first episode of Monday Nitro. You gotta love it. And then Bischoff did a plug for WCW Saturday Night. That's gonna have Johnny B. Bad versus Dick Slater and Sting and Macho Man versus the Blue Bloods. Love it.
We will not be watching the Saturday nights. We will just have to. No, we'll figure it out what happens.
You don't want to see Mark Miro against Dick Slater? Wow. Sounds like
I have a feeling we'll be seeing plenty of Dick Slater in the weeks to come. Is it time for the main event now?
Yes, indeed.
The first ever main event of WCW Nitro.
Big
Bubba Rogers versus Hulk Hogan, the WCW champion.
Okay, this is where I did see your whole point about this is the first episode of WCW Nitro. And they legit put 2 guys out there that were known for being in WWF. They put out the big boss man and the immortal Hulk Hogan.
I don't mind Hogan. That is your champion, so maybe he should be in the main event of the first Nitro. But Big Bubba Rogers, well, this is only made worse by what I consider, man, the line of the night maybe, although there's another line that comes after this that's probably even worse. Mongo McMichael, of course.
Shocker.
He says, "Is this not the best action you have ever seen on wrestling on television?" This is it, folks. This is it. The entire wrestling history.
You gotta remember though, WCW was known for their terrible hot takes like that. Oh my God, this was a great pay-per-view.
I don't know this, Jake.
What?
I don't know this.
He's new. That's hilarious that you mentioned that funny line because I wrote down one of the other things Mongo said during this main event is when Big Bubba comes out. Mongo asks, "What part of the sticks is Big Bubba from?" As the ring announcer says, he's from Cobb County, Georgia. I legit, I was just like, yo, I wanted to throw my remote at the TV at some of the things Mongo was saying.
This match is not that good, as you can expect. The Dungeon of Doom, I believe, comes in and ruins things. Then Lex Luger comes in and saves Hulk Hogan. And then what else is going on here? Let me see.
Well, Hogan got the win with the of course the regular Hogan shtick.
I
he kicked
still
out.
consider it a dirty finish.
He kicked out of the sidewalk slam at 2, hulked up, did the 3 punches, big boot, leg drop, 1, 2, 3. Then, like you said, Dungeon of Doom come out, and then Lex Luger of all people makes the save, and then Oh, yeah. Yeah, this was the one point I wanted to mention. As Luger and Hogan are going face-to-face, they almost come to blows as they both fight off the Dungeon of Doom. Hogan gets in Luger's face and tells him to go back where you came from. He came from the same place. He's a WCW original. You're not a WCW original. Like, what? He literally did come back to where he came from. Like, what, Hogan?
And let's talk about this line from Lex Luger. Oof, what a doozy. I'm sick and tired of playing around with kids. I'm here to play with the big boys. Oh, man. 1995, folks. 1995.
We need to insert a Chris Hansen gif right there.
Have a seat over here, Lex Luger. Have a seat over here.
I have a few questions for you.
Championship match is made for next week on Nitro between Lex Luger and Hulk Hogan.
What a lineup for next week Nitro in Miami, Florida. They announced at the end of the show, Sabu and M Wall Street will make their debut. We got Savage versus Norton, and then we got Luger versus Hogan for the WCW Heavyweight Championship.
I noticed throughout this show a ton of shots taken verbally against the WWF without directly mentioning them. And I feel like this is going to be a strategy that Eric Bischoff is going to master in for weeks to come.
I can't wait till they start spoiling. Like, we gotta watch Nitro before Raw so we can catch.
Well, next week Raw returns to their regularly scheduled programming, and I think that episode is going to be spoiled. So if we're gonna watch that next, we need to start with Raw first.
We'll start with Nitro. What Nitro spoils on Raw? Like,
I personally am gonna watch Raw first. I personally.
Because as a kid I didn't peep it. I did not peep it. Like, they literally would say it's so fast or so between everything that you
didn't pay no mind to it.
Yeah,
right.
You would miss it sometimes, but I want to catch it.
All right, we're gonna sum things up really quick here. We're gonna start with the match of the night. And in my opinion, it was Ric Flair Sting. What about you? I can understand if you want to put the first match as match of the night. I can understand.
I really like Sting versus Flair, but yes, I'm gonna go with Pillman versus Liger.
Definitely Pillman and Liger.
You're going with Pillman and Liger too. Yeah. So we got 2 for Pillman and Liger, 1 for Sting versus Luger.
And we'll keep track of this. We'll see on both shows who has the match of the night the most out of the entire rosters. We'll see. It's going to be a pain in the ass to track, but we'll see. The MVP of the night for me is Ric Flair also, because I thought he made Sting look like $1 million. What about you guys? MVP of the night?
I'll go drunk guy first.
I would say Luger, but the pedophile line kind of ruined that. So I would probably Flair coming out looking like, as Flair could, setting the tone for how Nitro would be. Hogan ruined that as champ, even though he was champion with the freaking pasta stuff. So I would probably go with Flair too, just because it's Flair.
All right. So we
the
got
guy that's not in the video package.
We got 2 for Flair. I'm gonna go. Since it wasn't pedophile line in 1995, and we're listening to it with 2020 ears, I'm gonna go with Lex Luger because he's the one that got all the buzz from this episode. He's the one everybody's gonna be talking about after this episode. So I think he deserves to be MVP. And they did a good job of hyping the first time ever matchup of Hogan and Luger. And just a spoiler alert. This won't be the last big matchup that they show on free TV on WCW.
To be fair, I kind of understand where you're coming from. To be fair, he kind of did set the tone for, ironically, what we're talking about, the Monday Night War. So
exactly,
can't go wrong with Luger either.
We go from the MVP to the LVP, which is the least valuable performer.
Mongo.
That's a good choice. That's a good choice. I'm going to go with Hulk Hogan, though, because that Pasta Mania pissed me off. Oh.
Remember, kids, eating pasta gets you healthy. Remember.
I can't go off on Mongo this whole episode and not have him as my LVP. even though his dog Pepper was pretty close. But, yeah, I got to go with Mongo.
You're not going to give it to a dog, are you?
Hey, he has this dog for a number of weeks on Nitro. So I'm giving you fair warning that a dog might be LVP one of the weeks. For just warning, yeah. But I'm going to go with Mike Mongo for week 1.
And then finally, we'll do a thumbs up or a thumbs down for the overall show every week for each show. And for me, I'm going to go thumbs down for episode 1 of Nitro.
Wow.
I know, right?
WWF guy giving a thumbs down to the first WCW show. Man, I thought I'd never see it.
What a shocker, right? What about you, drunk guy?
I'll give it a good old thumbs up.
I'm going to agree with the drunk guy, and I'm going to give it a thumbs up. Love the setting. Love Sting versus Flair. Love Liger versus Pillman. Pasta Mania was hilariously bad. And Luger created the whole atmosphere of anything can happen during the Monday Night Wars, so I got to give this a thumbs up.
So after 1 week in the Monday Night War, this Tru Rewind, WCW 1, WWF 0.
Oh, God, this doesn't even count.
Well, episode 2 have the first head-to-head matchup of the Monday Night Wars between Raw and Nitro. Any predictions? Who you think's gonna win the first head-to-head matchup?
Damn, WCW. Probably WCW.
WCW. Who you gonna go with?
I mean, if that's what they put for their first episode, I am afraid of what is to come in the second.
Then again, it's new, so you gotta think.
I have no idea what's gonna be on Raw. So.
Yeah, me either.
And also, at the start of episode 2, we're going to act like we're doing this live. It's a rewind. This is Tru Rewind, and we'll give the rating, what the rating was for week 1, Monday Nitro. We'll give it at the start of episode 2 of Tru Rewind. Any final plugs or final things you want to say before we wrap up this pilot?
Same shit, same thing, different channel. I mean, same episode, different, same channel, whatever. I fucked that, completely botched that. WCW. Anyway.
I want to say that we will also be watching the pay-per-views that come in between these Monday Night Wars weekly, so look out for those reviews as well. As for plugs, you can find me on social media at the Pride of NYC on Twitter and Instagram.
As always, Hacksaw _JY if you can't spell, _DUGGAN if you can't spell that either. On the Twitter, like the great Y2J says, DATKIDSTYL3S. And Facebook, my name, if you know my name, because I'm not going to tell you my name again. So, yeah.
This guy. You can find me on Instagram at TrueHill_EpicSP3, and you can follow Tru Hill Heat on Twitter, Instagram, as well as Facebook at Tru Hill Heat. Push the like button if you enjoyed this video. Put your comment down below. Let us know who you thought wins every week of the Monday Night Wars. We're not the only ones that are going to be the judge of this. If you guys want to watch along with us, watch the episodes and put down in the comment section who you think won for the week. And of course, like Drunk Guy JJ said, push the subscribe button, push the bell to stay notified. So for the Drunk Guy JJ, for the host of the Romeo Report, Romeo Anthony Colon, it is me, your Tru Hill Phenom SP3. This has been the first episode of Tru Rewind, signing off until next time.